Hello and welcome back to Project Management House. We'll continue answering the questions of the first quiz of Project Management Framework. Question 11. The main difference between Project Expediter and Project Coordinator is that Project Expediter acts as a staff assistant and can't make decisions. Project Expediter has the power to make some decisions. Project Expediter has higher authority than Project Coordinator, or Project Coordinator can't make decisions. Yes. Of course, Project Coordinator and Expediter both are project manager roles in the weak matrix organizations. But there is a difference between coordinators and expediters. Because project coordinator have some power to make some decisions and have more authority than the project expediter and also reports to higher level manager. But the project expediter acts as a staff assistant and communication coordinator and can't make any decisions. So the right answer now is exactly. The project expediter acts as staff assistant and can't make decisions. First choice. Another question. You are a project manager in a software development company. You started to plan a new project in which the scope is not defined in details at the initial phases of the project. In this case, what type of project life cycle should you adopt to? The predictive life cycle, the progressive elaboration, rolling wave life cycle, or adaptive life cycle? Yes. Of course, rolling wave life cycle and progressive elaboration are wrong answers because there is nothing has this meaning of rolling wave life cycle or progressive elaboration life cycle. So, predictive life cycle or adaptive life cycle? Yes. Watch here the keywords for answering the question. The scope is not defined in details at the initial phases of the project. So in this case, what type of project life cycle? Yes, exactly the adaptive life cycle. Because in adaptive life cycles, product is developed over multiple iterations and the scope is not clearly defined at the beginning of the project. While in the plan-driven or the predictive life cycles, they are used when the scope and deliverables are defined clearly at the beginning of the project. So here the answer is adaptive life cycle. Yes. Another question. You are a newly assigned project manager in an agricultural engineering company. You are managing a project to produce new organic soil fertilizer. You heard that there was a previous similar project that was failed due to severe problems. What should you do first? Continue with planning the project, contact the project manager of the previous project and ask for assistance, review lessons learned and historical records to know about the problem and ask for guidance from the PMO, or make sure all stakeholders agree to the project scope. Yes. Here the question is asking about the next thing to be done. So, sure, at some point you will continue to plan the project. It's okay. So, continue with planning the project is not the first thing to be done. Okay? making sure that all stakeholders agree to the project scope is not the right choice, because some stakeholders are resistors to the project and will remain resistors to the end of the project. So this is not the right answer. Okay, contacting the project manager of the previous project and ask for assistance, or review lessons learned and historical records to know about the problem and ask for guidance from the PMO. Yes. Contacting the PM of the failed project may be a later step after reviewing the organizational process assets, like lessons learned and historical records. So the first thing to be done now is to review lessons learned and historical records to know about the problem and ask for guidance from the PMO. Exactly. Let's move to another question. Generally, for project life cycles, risk and uncertainty are greatest at the start of the project and decrease over the life of the project. Risk and uncertainty are lowest at the start of the project and increase over the life of the project. Cost of changes is high at the beginning and decrease over the life of the project. Cost of changes and uncertainty are greatest at the beginning and decrease over the life of the project. Yes. We will show you this graph from the PAM book guide to know the answer of the question. As you can see, risk and uncertainty are greatest at the initial phases of the project and they decrease as the project time progresses. While cost of changes are minimum at the initial phases of the project and it increases over the life of the project. This is because cost of changes and repairing defects increase as the project progresses and approaches completion and products are produced, while risk and uncertainty decreases because decisions are reached and deliverables are accepted in the project. So the right answer is risk and uncertainty are greatest at the start of the project and decrease over the life of the project. Another question. The project manager is more likely to have a part-time job in which type of organization? Functional or weak metrics organization? Functional or strong metrics organization? Functional or balanced metrics? Functional or tight metrics? Yes, it's a very easy question and is very common in the exam. The project manager is having a part-time job in, yes, the functional and weak metrics organizations. Exactly. Let's move to another question. All of the following are characteristics of project phases except they are used when the nature of the performed work is unique to a portion of the project. Phases are completed sequentially and cannot overlap. They are elements in the project life cycle, or a project may be divided to any number of phases. Yes. Of course, project phases are used when the nature of the performed work is unique to a portion of the project. That's right. Phases are completed sequentially. Of course, this is right. But they can overlap. In this type of questions, note that the choice, part of the choice is true but the second part is not true. So phases are completed sequentially. This is true about project phases, and cannot overlap. This is not true because they cannot overlap according to the nature of the project. So of course this is the right answer because they can overlap. Let's move to another question. All of the following are not a functional organization characteristics, except in functional organizations, resources availability for the project is high, while project manager's authority is little. In functional organizations, resources availability for the project is little, while the project manager's authority is high. In functional organization, resources availability for the project is high, and project manager's authority is high. And in functional organization, resources availability for the project is little, and project manager's authority is little. Yes. For projects, resources availability increases as the organizational structure goes from the functional organization to projectized. So, in weak matrix organization, the availability is low, then it becomes low to moderate in balanced matrix, then moderate to high in strong matrix until it's total in projectized organization. And same for project manager's authority. The project manager's authority is little or none in functional organizations, in weak matrix organization, and it becomes higher and higher until the structure goes to projectized. So here the right answer is yes. In functional organizations, resources availability for the project is little, and project manager's authority is also little. Okay, let's move to another question. Very direct question. All of the following are true about project governance, except it's a methodology for managing small to medium-sized projects only. It's an oversight function that encompasses the project life cycle. It includes a framework for making project decisions, defines roles, responsibilities, and accountabilities for project success. Or it includes the process to identify, escalate, and resolve issues that arise during the project. Yes. Of course, project governance is a critical element in any project, and especially for complex and risky projects. It provides consistent method of controlling the project by defining reliable project practices. So it's used specially for complex and risky projects. So the right answer here is it's a methodology for managing small to medium-sized projects, as it's not right. Okay, let's move to another question. Which of the following statements are true? In functional organizations, team members report to both the project manager and the functional manager. In weak matrix organizations, team members report to the project manager only. In balanced matrix, power rests with the functional manager only. Or in weak matrix organizations, the project manager's role is more of a coordinator or expediter. Again and again, questions about organizational structure and project managers' roles are very important for the exam, and the organization structure may be the key word to solve the question right. Okay, so now What's the right answer? Yes? Of course. In weak matrix organizations, the project manager's role is more of a coordinator or expediter. Yes, great.